It's the Brews and Bros podcast.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Brews and Bros podcast. My name's Mitch.
And I'm Zach, and we're the hosts on this caffeinated adventure. I love that line.
You're an idiot. I love it. I told you to do it, but you're an idiot. Now, this week, we do have our first guest on the podcast, and it's someone I've known for a little while now. Please let me introduce you to the mad dog himself, Vaughan McVilly. Here he is, folks, the man himself. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Whew, actually felt quite good. I've got some sort of movement in the nipple area. Hi, lads.
Good, mate. Yourself?
Very, very well.
Now, it's been a big day. We've been flat out down in the roastery. Zach just had his first day on the roaster.
Gave it a bit of a crack.
You had a
Stood
good
on the
crack,
other
mate.
side of the counter, if you know what I mean.
Pushed a couple of buttons.
That's it.
So this is the roastery. This is my home now. If you didn't know, I no longer have the cafe, and this is where I spend a lot of my time.
And I got the day with Mitch to see what happens behind the scenes.
So he's now a master roaster. He knows how to push two buttons.
Master something, anyway.
And know how to suck up the coffee.
Yeah, and he can suck up the coffee. Let's leave it there. So Vaughan is at the roastery a lot of the times. There's a few things that happen in this place, and there's quite a few things that he does. If you couldn't tell, the branding is all about branding. Learned from the best. So tell us about one of the things you do, mate.
Well, let's talk about all the branding. Unbound Velo is a new brand that I've just sort of given birth to, but it's been around for a long, long time. Been in the cycling bicycle industry for most of my life, or all my life. My dad was a 3 times Aussie road cycling champion, and we had a bike shop.
Couple of trophies up there.
Couple of trophies in and around our little clubhouse down here. So, so obviously in this roastery, on the other side, we've got a little clubhouse. We've got a little workstation and a couple of offices upstairs. And so we've just launched this new brand about, I guess, the cycling game has become really expensive.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do something where it was more affordable, a lot more fun, even though cycling and gravel biking and mountain biking is already great fun, but maybe just a little bit less serious.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at being less serious.
We know. Now,
Definitely.
Now, I don't actually remember where we met.
Well, I was trying to think about it. Like, I guess it must have been back when you were at Blackman's as a superstar mechanic.
That's what it was either then or when I was working for Voldemort,
Yes.
who shall not be named.
That's gold.
That's when I met Vaughan the first time.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Back
yeah,
in the day. Back when you're on the tools.
on the tools
On a different sort of
and
tools.
actually rode the bikes.
Yeah.
I was pretty fit. Now, I
Very
do
good
have.
mountain biker.
I went all right. I was
Tassie
fairly
trip
fit.
Was awesome.
Now, I want to talk about Tassie. So, I was pretty fit at the time, and we were riding Derby. If you haven't ridden a mountain bike in Derby, get to Tassie
Derby, mate.
ASAP. Derby, whatever.
It's a Derby day.
It's
Derby,
Tasmania.
Derby.
Yeah, it's Tasmania. Us
Yeah,
two headers
anyway.
people, though, we get a bit upset.
I'm from Victoria. I can't say too much. And I was chugging down water from my hydro pack like there's no tomorrow. I'm pretty sure you did not drink one bottle of water that entire time, but you drank something.
Yes. Well, I think, again, coming back to Unbound Velo experiences, you need to make sure that you enjoy the good things in life. And the good things in life are good booze and good coffee.
Loose.
And good brews.
Definitely.
Hey.
We've had a few of those today.
A few.
I think
What
we
are you
need a few
drinking there?
more.
Yours, I just pinched it out of your little brew machine
Bit
over
of something. I think it's some Ethiopia, possibly. PNG. No, that's the PNG.
Yeah, that was the
Bit
new
of a special
PNG.
PNG. It's not
there. And
bad.
we probably should talk about, you guys have helped me put together our own Unbound Velo espresso.
We have.
A whole heap of Colombian and some PNG.
Yep.
And what else is in there? Oh, Ethiopia.
Yeah.
What's the go of that? Tell me about
Got to
it.
have a good Ethiopia.
You do have
That's
to
a
have
base for
everything.
every good coffee.
I love my Ethiopian coffees. Zach loves his Ethiopians. The fruitiness, the flavours. It's just so...
Versatility. It's just good with
Got everything.
It's good
A little
black,
bit of
it's
Ethiopia
good
on
white.
everything. It works.
What more could
It
you want?
does.
So it's delicious. We're launching it tomorrow at a cool event in Heffron Park for the Cyclocross National Round on Sunday and Sunday.
Should be there.
Should be there. See how we go.
Pending.
Ending a coffee machine.
Yeah.
It's been a rough
couple
day.
of logistics that have kind of hit us at the last minute, but we'll get there. We'll work out a way. There's always a way.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
And now there is a bike behind us.
Yes.
So what's...
So we import Stork bicycles out of Germany. So Marcus Stork is arguably sort of a bit of a forefather of carbon design engineering. He engineered and designed the first carbon cranks. This bike behind me is currently the fastest, or it's actually now the second fastest because he's made a newer version, or most aerodynamic bike in the market.
Yep.
So we're bringing them in from Germany. They've got a beautiful gravel range as well, which gravel biking is going berserk at the moment and around the world, and especially here in Australia. So we're bringing those in, and then we're doing a whole heap of our own ancillary products, 3D printed saddles.
Those saddles are sick.
That's cool.
so
You should see these things, man.
Beautiful.
They're proper.
3D printed saddles.
Yeah.
Like it's strong enough to.
Yeah, mate, these things are
Super
incredible.
strong. Yeah.
So
And they're made out of
that's wicked.
recycled products, so we're trying to do the right thing by the planet,
Yep.
and we're trying to drink good booze and brews.
Brews. Now, you've got a massive range of merch.
I have.
You have your own brand of high tops.
Yeah.
Your shoes are sick.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pop a
Shoes?
picture of these shoes up on the screen here.
Yeah.
I haven't
They
seen these
look
shoes. I need to see.
insane. I want a pair.
Well, the thing I think about it is you need to look good on and off the bike, right?
I look way better off the bike.
So do I. Well, the thing is, I could definitely go downhill faster than I can these days. But yeah, so, and again, it was about good colours, good fun, really comfy, good quality clothing that's not ridiculously expensive. Like our saddles, our merch, everything is in that sort of, good ballpark where it's not stupid fashion expensive, but it's still really good quality.
It's reasonable.
Yeah.
And it is proper cycling apparel as well.
Yeah.
I've got one of your vests.
Yep.
Looks really good. There's one on the dummy just there if Zach's not blocking it. You are one of those.
That's
fits really well and
nice
actually
vest,
sits nice and low at
actually.
the back. If you ride a bike,
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
It's looking best.
Yep. No, it's awesome, man. And it is fun having you around
Yeah.
all
it's
the
good.
time. Loose unit.
Probably lucky that you're only in here a couple of days a week.
Yeah, I'd be in
Big
trouble
G-man will
otherwise.
probably get upset with us because
We wouldn't get anything done.
exactly. I've been trying to coax him to get back on the tools because he was arguably one of the best bike mechanics in Australia, I reckon, when you were full on into it. But he's very hard. He
I've
still loves
lost
his
it.
coffee way too much.
Coffee way more than bikes. Yeah, like I don't mind getting on the tools on the bikes, but I think it's more the people that ride them
Yeah.
that I don't want to deal with. And I don't mean to be rude, but if you've worked in the industry, you'll know.
I think the same goes for cafes. Like I would much rather be playing around with this thing than
Yeah.
standing
In
behind.
the little break we went to go and get lunch at the cafe, I realised how much I don't miss the cafe. It's interesting,
Just
right?
those
You can love
people.
what you do, but some people ruin it.
Oh, and we watched one customer walk in straight to it, and I'm like, "You serious?"
Yeah, it definitely takes its toll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But-
It's such a long job, right? Cafes, early mornings. It's like you never really get to close early. I had my little cafe that I had down in Tassie, like it killed me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You had some crazy adventure ideas in Tassie.
I did.
Now, something involving propellers.
Yes.
I need to hear more about this because I only heard a very small, and I don't know if this is a sore subject.
No, we can definitely talk
We can
about
definitely talk about it. All right.
it. Yeah. So I went down to Tassie to start McVilly Enterprises, which was my dad, Graham McVilly. I wanted to build a business, a tourism business around Tasmania and mountain biking, gravel biking, road biking. And I got a mate over in Canada, in the ski fields of Canada, who does heli skiing. And I wanted to do heli biking. And so we got discussing about how we can make that happen. Of course, in Australia, you've got CASA laws and all of this sort of stuff, and it's very expensive. And I mean in the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars because you got to do test flights and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not sometimes what you know or how deep your pockets are. It's also who you know. And so I was able to use my network, and we launched the very first and only ever heli mountain biking business out of Hobart. Which was amazing.
Yeah.
We had about,
Can
but we
imagine.
literally did about 4 or 5 trips, and then I'll say it, the fucking government just wanted to rip me in every way.
Wouldn't want to have fun.
No. Yeah.
So what? Just
Don't do that.
helicopters and bikes didn't work together, or
Oh yeah, they
It's
gave
like
me,
a really good fast shuttle run.
yeah.
That's the idea, right?
Well, you know, like you think Hobart to Derby is a 3.5, 4 hour drive to the bottom, and then it takes an hour and a half in the shuttle to get to the top before you can ride down.
Yeah.
Up to Medina is an hour and a half. In the chopper, we were getting there in 20 minutes to Medina, and about under an hour. And we went up the coast, the east coast of Tasmania. It was absolutely spectacular.
so it's like a scenic flight as well
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
downhill mountain bike
cool.
adventure.
Yeah.
That's freaking wicked.
So but unfortunately, the the tourism and the government department down there wanted too much of the pie. I think at one stage they were asking me for 45%. And
What sort of business does that number even work?
well, it didn't work, right? So
it doesn't.
It literally sent me completely and utterly broke, and broke me mentally as well. And that's how I got involved in the mental health stuff.
Yeah, wow. Cool, man. Well, we will get to that in a minute. We are going to take a quick break and we'll get back to you.
It's the Brews and Bros podcast.
Well, welcome back. And I'm going to be completely honest. The reason we took that break is because someone's microphone wasn't turned on. How's that?
Don't point at me. I'm
Wow.
a guest.
Yeah,
you guys
it's
are
not your
supposed to be all
fault.
over this. Look, this bright fella over here.
Yeah.
Maybe not so bright.
And look, while we're gone, we made some coffee.
Coffee.
'Cause why not?
Well, we're in a coffee roastery, and I think I actually roasted this.
I
Actually,
mean,
lads,
you might have pushed a button.
I've got my new little Unbound super duper steel cup that I take with me everywhere.
That you
on
lose
the
all the
bike.
time?
I'll lose all the time. But, you know, so it's good. It's a camping one. It's made of steel.
Yeah.
What's the thoughts on a bloody keep cup?
Now, I was listening to the world's second best coffee podcast the other day, and they were actually discussing a bit of an issue that they were having in a cafe with keep cups. Got the perfect solution. Now, what they were whinging about, maybe I shouldn't say whinging, what they were concerned about is workflow in a cafe. If you've ever worked behind a bar at a cafe, you'd understand that there's either a docket system or a takeaway cup system. And when there's a third thing implemented, it's really tricky. Now, if you work in a cafe or you own a keep cup, write your order on the cup. How hard is it?
Or just like a label maker.
Just whatever.
your order
Write the order on the cup. You're going to order the same thing, and if you don't, have two keep cups. I know you've got more than one. Don't say you've done it for the environment. It's not why you've done it. It's because it was pretty and it had a built-in NFC reader. Whatever. Just write your order on the cup. It's easy.
Yeah. Okay. That's a fantastic idea. I'm an owner of multiple keep cups, so I definitely will be doing that.
And it's a good idea.
Right? How hard is it?
That is a very good
If
idea.
you drink soy, you know, I already don't like you. Don't make my life even harder. Anyway, moving forward, we do have a couple of questions for Vaughan. And then we have a new segment coming up. So maybe I should do this segment first and then give you guys more time to work out what's going on. So there's a new segment that I'm going to ask, or we're going to ask every guest, and then eventually ourselves next time we don't have a guest. Now, I want to ask Vaughan 2 truths and a lie, and you guys have got till the end of the episode to work out which one is which.
You can see everyone's brain just ticking.
All right. So,
2 truths and a lie.
2 truths and a lie. Go for it.
I've ridden my bike from Hobart to Devonport in one ride.
It's far.
I've been a backup dancer during the AFL Grand Final with Kath and Kim.
I don't know why I believe that.
I've kicked a goal from outside 65 metres at the MCG in front of nearly 100,000 people.
Ooh. This is 3 very believable things. Now, if you know Vaughan, you'll understand that I believe all 3 of these. So, you got to the end of the episode to work out which one it is, and then we're going to find out at the end which one's the lie.
What do you think so far?
I honestly have no idea. Anyway.
I'm a bit like trying to process it, and I don't.
I want to believe all 3 of them as well. So that the goal was obviously an AFL term, right?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. So if you don't speak that language, fair.
Yeah, not me. No idea.
You didn't even watch Origin last night.
All I know is an AFL oval is round.
It's oval. It's not round, you're right.
That's what I mean.
It's an oval.
It's
You need to watch a live
not
game
NFL.
to appreciate it.
very
honestly.
confusing.
It's
I watched it
amazing.
the other day, and it was just like
Amazing.
people running around.
It's a
and-
little mice just going, wow,
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
mice on acid.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, good luck with that one because I actually don't know the answer. Now we do have some normal questions for you. Normal by our standards at least. Now, what is, and this is a coffee related, what is the best coffee you've ever had, Vaughan?
Ooh. Wow. See, now I'm going to be blowing up your tyres. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we did a thing between Christmas and New Year, and I did 100 kilometres every day. Mm-hmm. And one of those 100 kilometres was from here,
Oh, I remember that.
and we called it the Quattro Ton or something. And I came
Yeah,
out, and you made me a Chef something or other. What was that?
That was Ethiopia Yirgacheffe.
It was hilarious because I had about 10 people arrive and we started heading out to Penrith, wherever the hell you were, way out Whoop, and they just dropped. People were dropping like flies. It was really
Can't imagine
hot.
why.
And we got nearly all the way there, and I realised that when I looked down at the old computer that we were up to 80 k's, so the entire ride was going to be more like 160 k's rather than 100 because it was supposed to be a ton a day. That everyone had pissed off, so I literally turned up on my own and sat there, and I think I had 3 or 4 coffees in the end, and one of your toasties, and then rode my.
I remember that.
Cool.
Like it was.
Oh yeah, you were there too.
It was like I was just thinking about it. No way, it was 3 years ago. And
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
was a while ago.
It
Well,
was a while ago.
It was
yeah.
more because it was in the old shop.
Old shop.
Yeah.
I think, was it?
Yeah.
The old shop or the new shop?
Yeah, in the laneway.
I
Yeah,
can't
I
remember.
can't remember. Yeah, it was in the laneway.
Was
Yeah,
it in the laneway?
yeah.
Yeah, the old shop. So it's
Yeah.
more than
What
three.
It was a
Trade
grey
Carpet,
one.
that's right, not
Yuga
quite
chef.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, that was one of the coffees roasted by who I now work for, which is cool little. All comes back around, right?
Would you say that's also your most memorable coffee?
Yeah, I think, well, for a whole heap of reasons, it was ridiculously delicious. It was something that I hadn't really tried before. I've done heaps of cuppings with the Big G, Gareth, here at Quattro, and tasted some, but I've never had that at full, experience of just the coffee that blew my little head off.
Yeah.
Well, not so little.
Not so little. Yeah. Just fix that. When you're getting a bit high on the volume there.
Yeah.
Now it's too
Noisy.
much. Yeah. This is not quiet. Now, dare we ask worst coffee ever?
Oh,
Now, just to help everyone understand here, Vaughan doesn't even filter his coffee, let alone his words. Okay, so just if you're sensitive, maybe switch off for a minute.
so I think the thing that I need to say about that is I lived in Melbourne for 12 years when I fell in love with coffee.
Yep.
And with the great Cafe Racer down in St Kilda, and then just all of the great, the coffee culture down there. When I first came to Sydney though, it was just a fucking bag of shit, and I actually started a blog called A Tasmanian's Coffee Crusade, trying to find good coffee. So the list of shit coffee was very, very long.
Yeah.
But I do remember, so naming anyone, God, it's been so long, it's ridiculous.
Back then, there would have been some shockers. Look,
Yeah.
to be honest,
Still is a
Sydney is
lot,
still a
yeah.
shocker.
Yeah.
A lot of people in Sydney need to go to Melbourne to understand why Melbourne coffee drinkers are wankers to us. They're not. They have better coffee.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I agree.
Hands down, too.
And-
It's not even comparable.
And look, to move sideways a little bit from that, owning a specialty cafe in Sydney is really bloody hard, because the majority of people that understand what I'm doing or what I was doing, no one got it. There wasn't enough.
Yeah. And like talking back to my franchising days when I was a franchise consultant, you've come to Sydney, you come to Sydney and all of the franchise groups for the last 10 years have actually always been quite strong. I mean, they've started to filter off probably in the last 2 or 3 years, but even Campos, for fuck's sake. Like,
You can't
it's
get
not
rid of it.
it's not great for me.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
really enjoy it at all.
I think the way I always word it is it's not to my taste.
Yeah.
Rather than saying it's a bad coffee, because there's obviously people out there that enjoy it. Now, whether those people have a very different taste to me or they're just brainwashed, so be it. If you like the green cup, good on you. But there is just so much good coffee out there. But trying to get that to the consumer and help them understand it is a really, really difficult task. And that's a big part of my job right now, is to get it in front of people and help the cafe understand it and help the cafe know that you don't have to have that brand on a cup. And it is shifting. The specialty coffee world is making its way into those places, and even just the cafes that actually want their own brand of coffee.
That's gone nuts
It's one of the
recently.
big segues now is to push away the brands and stop advertising for these conglomerates that don't actually care about your 30, 40 kilos a week. Where to someone more like our size, 30, 40 kilos a week, and we're looking after you guys. Like it's a big difference, right? That's
I agree, mate. The other thing I'd add to that is I think it's a much smarter business case as well, because you can go around the corner and get another Campos. You can't go around the corner and get another Brew Lab or something. And then if you get, you guys and get people that can roast you a really good coffee that's to your taste, that's specialty and good. It's your branding. You're building your own brand. You're building some equity in your own business and your own brand, and something that you can sell down the track.
It's true.
I think it's the way to go. And then you add your own flair of customer service, remembering people's names and all that shit that I love.
Yeah.
Your business is going to be worth more, and you're going to have a better chance at lasting.
Well, you complete that brand, right?
Yep.
As well. You become something a little bit more important than another place with a coffee machine, because that's how you're kind of going to be treated by a lot of these bigger companies. They're just another one,
It's all about building that brand awareness.
Yeah, for sure.
You become away from that coffee shop, and it's a brand, it's a place to go.
Yep. Well, I experienced it myself in the cafe. On the days I wasn't there, we weren't as busy. So
People
I
used
was
to come
actually
in
the
and
brand.
ask Mitch,
That was horrible because I wasn't allowed to have a day off.
Where's
Jerks.
Mitch today?
Exactly. But yeah.
How did you guys meet? Was that through the cafe?
I think it was a combination of the cafe that before I owned it and cars.
We
So
met at
we're
a car
both
meet
into-
once, and we were like,
Because we're both into cars, both into four-wheel drives. I think I didn't have a four-wheel drive yet.
No.
I would have had something
we both
turbo
had the
and stupid.
You actually had the Pulsar still the first time I met you.
You've seen the Pulsar.
Oh, the Pulsar. You need to show a photo
I'll
of
bring
that
up
right now.
a photo of the
I've got
Pulsar.
the photo.
I'll show you guys
Yeah.
if you're watching this.
Don't worry about the car, just look at those frosted tips.
Oh, yeah. Now, this was early 2000s.
Don't try and make
mid-2000s.
excuses, mate.
Oh, I am. Absolutely, I am. Backpedaling out of this one as quick as I can. It was, at the time, I loved it. I loved that thing. And then moved on to fast cars when I was allowed to. Yeah.
No, but fast cars, and then I actually worked for the original owner.
Yeah, so
of
the guy
the
bought the
Brew
Brew
Lab. I used to run his coffee van for him.
Yeah.
So, and then one day, he's like, "Oh, I've got a mate jumping in with you," and it was Mitch, and we were like, anyway, we had actually met previous to that, and then Mitch,
I ended up employing you once I owned the Brew
that's
Lab.
it. Mitch
and-
brought the Brew Lab, and he's like, "Oh, you want to help out on weekends?" And
Yeah.
then I jumped in full time when I finished something I was
that's right.
doing, and
Something. God
Yeah.
knows what. Yeah.
that's it.
Can't get rid of him.
Stick around now.
Yeah, that's it. And now he's jumped on the roaster. He doesn't work here. It's just definitely for a bit of fun.
That's it.
And how'd you find it?
Oh, an experience. It was
Yeah.
so cool. It's just another element of the whole coffee world,
Yeah.
which is, it's people don't understand how big it is. And
Can I just point out as well, if you've never roasted coffee in a place about this size, now it's a 60 kilo roaster. If you've ever lifted a 60 kilo bag from one side of a warehouse to the other 30 times,
it's heavy.
roasting is physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those bags.
Yeah.
I moved one this morning from like right
20
over
metres
there
away.
to just behind Mitch over there, and it's
Yeah.
whew, and then you've got to lift it onto the scales.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. It is physical,
Oh,
but it's good
very
fun.
physical.
I love
It's
it.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's just seeing, how the coffee's like a blend is actually blended, and
Yeah.
the different ways it can be blended, and
Yeah.
how much like a second in the roaster affects
Big
a
differences.
roast.
Yeah.
And watching the, like a roast takes, say, between 15 and 17 minutes. That between the 15 and the 17,
So
the way the coffee
Big
changes,
difference.
and watching through the sight glass how quickly it goes from, that's no good, to okay, we're done.
Yeah, yeah.
And-
And it also with volume, right? So if you do 60 kilos, it's quicker than 70 kilos.
But even we did a
It's
30
fun.
today, and it took just as long as the 70.
Almost as long, yeah.
Yeah, it
But
was
totally different profile.
Completely different
Yeah.
profile. It was like an omni roast compared to a medium
Yeah.
to dark, which the first lot of coffee we did was. So
Yeah, it was good fun, eh?
a lot of fun.
Have you done any roasting?
Yeah, I have. Well, I've helped out, obviously, G, when people don't turn up. And we have a go-for rule in this place. You go for this, you go for that. You fill in and you do whatever you can. And it is super physical. I have no understanding of what I'm doing. I just get directed to do stuff and I do stuff. But, I love just the whole process here. I love the fact that we also have people coming in from, and roasting their own brands. Wednesdays we've got Benny who comes in here who does the roasting for
Good bloke.
for Burke Street Bakery. So we do, and like you see him just pumping it out, and he's got his own style and what he does, and then obviously the bagging and all of that sort of stuff. So it's quite it's a great little process, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's a good way to make mates in this place. Now, before we did go on a break, you did mention some stuff about men's mental health or mental health in general.
Yeah.
Now, cycling, coffee, all of the things that we love tend to make that easier to have a conversation with your mates over a coffee. Now, I don't drink alcohol. You do enough of that for me. You got that covered. But it is a good way to sit down with your mates. Now, there is a big thing that you have really taken on, and I applaud you for that. And I've watched a lot of these things it develop. Tell us a little bit more about this.
So the Mental Wheels Foundation, I'm the General Manager of the Mental Wheels Foundation. We're a non-for-profit charity that raises money mostly for research and programs for mental health, not just men's mental health, but specifically we're helping fund and mindspot.org.au. If you haven't heard about mindspot.org.au, it is a free online mental health clinic. You can go on, you can fill in a little questionnaire, a little survey. It takes about 15-20 minutes, but it will give you a very accurate of where your mental health's at. And if you fall below the line, the depression line, so to speak, you'll have immediate access to help. So we've been supporting them for a long time. We built our own app called the MAP, the My Amazing Pathway app, which is for two reasons. One, we've worked out that through the research that Macquarie University do, that they're things that you should be doing every day to help your mental health, and so it works as a little bit of a prompter to get you to work.
Probably the things we aren't doing.
Exactly.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah. But also a way to capture data because there's not a lot of data. We did the first ever research that we did was called The Things You Do, and it was 4 years ago, and it was the very first men's only cohort that was done in a mental health space.
Wow.
And that was only 4 years ago. So when you consider that the suicide rate is continuing to increase, awareness campaigns have done an amazing job of making us all aware that mental health is a fucking problem, but it's not doing a fantastic job of saying, well, what do I do next and how do I go about
the
it?
problem?
How do you actually fix it?
So that's what we've been doing. We've got we run events, obviously Mental Wheels Foundation, so we do a lot of charity rides, but we've been we partner with a whole heap of events. We did Walk for Paws, which was a dog walking event,
and
which
it
was
was
good fun.
the rainiest week of my life. Layla loved it.
Yeah.
Running through the mud, it was great.
But the next big event we're doing is on the 24th of October, which is called Stride 4, which is going to be a walk from Bondi down to La Perouse along the coastline, which is going to be amazing. So go and check that out. You can go to stride4.com.au and you can join the Mental Wheels team and come for a walk with us down to Lapa, and again, just to raise money for mental health.
Yeah. And I'm going to pop links to all this stuff below. Everything from Vaughan. He's taking his time this afternoon. I'm sure he could be doing other things. So any links and sites and whatever it is you're doing, mate, I'm going to help support you.
Thanks.
You've been a good mate for a long time, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's it. Support our mates. And
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, you and I have had quite a few conversations, both in both directions, right?
Yeah.
I've been through some tough times where I've had you on the phone and vice versa, right?
Yep.
And you need that, and you need someone to just to bump you in the right direction,
Yep.
help you stay on the straight and narrow, help you not make stupid decisions.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
then be there to support each other. I think it's
Exactly.
one of the main things. So.
Yeah. Zachy and I have definitely seen each other in tears for good and bad reasons.
That's 100%.
So it's, and there's nothing wrong with having a bit of a sook to your mates.
That's it.
It's better than
We've
the
all got to be there
alternative,
for each
so-
other. Yeah, that's
Exactly,
exactly
man.
right. I think we've both had quite a few mates and lost a few mates
Yep.
for the same reasons.
Exactly,
and,
man.
it's not an easy thing, but you've got to talk
We'd
to
all
your mates.
just spoken up and could have ended very differently.
Yeah.
Not ended, maybe is a better way to put it. So, moving forward, what's your plan, Zach? What are you doing now, mate?
Oh, well, I'm just working away, mate. I work a normal Monday to Friday job in an office.
Yep.
Doing exactly what I love, selling four-wheel drive parks. Building people's dream
Yeah.
rigs, as I say it.
Your dream rigs now, I'm not going to go into details because it's definitely, I probably wasn't even meant to be seeing this. I saw the build cost for one of these Land Cruisers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god!
And that's the normal, and it's
Yeah.
something that I've come to realise that people literally. There's one guy that I'm dealing with at the moment. He's selling his current car to fund his new car build.
Just the accessories.
Just the accessories portion of it.
Now we're talking
Gold.
6 figures, and not the little 6 figures
No.
in modifications.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But there's still those people that are like, this guy is building his car to hit the road and travel full time with his family. So
Disappear.
he's got his wife and 3 kids. So they're literally hooking up their van and they're doing a lap of the country.
Love it.
And
Now,
why not?
do they have a coffee solution in
Yeah.
part of this?
I'll
Maybe
have
we
to
need
try
to
get a
have a
photo of
conversation.
this. In his van,
Yep.
there is a Breville dual boiler machine.
I mean, it'll do.
It'll do.
What coffee is he using, Zach? Exactly. Not the right coffee. Come on, mate. Get onto it.
That's it. And I've got some big ideas for coffee and the travelling. You know.
Yeah, we've spoken about a couple of ideas in your truck.
Yep. Oh,
Truck. Now I'm going to put a photo of his truck as well if he lets me. This thing's sick. Now I've said it before on this podcast that I do not like Jeeps. Have you seen Zach's Jeep?
No.
And now it's finished.
Oh my lord! The thing is a monster. Now I've had big cars. I've had big 4-wheel drives. This thing dwarfs my Patrol. It's ridiculous, and it actually looks really good. You've done a good job, mate.
It's taken some time, but I've built it so we can
And
go.
money.
We don't talk about that part. I've built it to just go wherever I want.
Yeah.
Like I sent Mitch a photo a couple of weeks ago. I was parked on this cliff. Like I parked on the cliff and I was making coffee over the
Yeah.
other corner.
Love
So
it.
what's your coffee solution in the Jeep?
Either trickle 8 or filter. Yeah.
Got to get him on the out and
Yeah.
On
We're
the
going to
outing,
get out in a
no.
couple of weeks. And,
yeah, I'm going to loan you that thing
Yeah.
because you've had a little crack at the out. And
Yeah, I love it. That is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because gravel biking, I've actually got a mate who's just done what you've just been talking about. He was actually the former CEO of Rhino Rack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ernie,
sure.
the Ern dog. He'll be
Yeah.
watching this for sure.
Better.
Well, he's got nothing else to do. He's doing a full lap of Australia with his wife and kids.
Oh.
So whatever he can do to get away from his wife and kids, he'll have his phone and be watching this. So g'day, Ern. But he's got the full setup. Got a boat on the top of the roof of the like the
Living the dream.
Absolutely. And I saw this at Alton. That's how I say it.
Yep.
Such a cool little device. And then gravel biking, going out with your mates and spending, and being able to make a brew. That's freaking quality. I was
Yeah.
blown
Oh, it's-
away.
If you
Especially with that new little dingle
on
dangle.
the 18-gram basket,
Holy moly.
cracking.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
yet to
unreal.
try. I've had.
You've drank coffee
I've
from
drank
it.
coffee
You
from
haven't
it, but
actually
with the
played
little
it.
6-gram.
That's right. It was.
Yeah.
You hadn't had that.
I haven't tried it with the 18, so I'm pretty keen to
And
get out and.
I believe you're working on something to do with the Alton as well. I saw something.
Well, as you know, like on a bike, you have the bidon holder. You have 2 bidon holders on a bike. So
A bidon is a bottle.
A
if you're not
bottle,
aware.
yes. And so
layman's
I said to
terms.
Mitch, can you get me a contact? Because I've got an idea to make a holder for the Alton so it can sit in the bidon holder. Rather, so you have 1 bottle of water and your Alton, and so you can just actually take it with wherever you go.
Little
Like,
USB rechargeable
Oh.
espresso machine on
Boom.
the road, boils the water for you. So you're a little bit of cold out of your bidon
yeah.
into the Alton. Away you go. How good is it?
I love it.
It's working
I'm so
for
excited
coffee
about
store.
it. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I've got movement in my pants.
Doesn't take much.
So we're just currently designing that, which is going to be cool. And I think, with gravel biking in Australia or all around the world at the moment, it's just everyone's looking for an awesome solution to make
Yeah.
coffee on the go.
The
Right?
gravel's the way, man. Like, especially on a bike, that thing is that one.
That one over there,
There's
yeah.
one over there that kept falling over when someone was bumping it. That is the lightest gravel. If it didn't have dirt tires on it, I wouldn't have even noticed it was a gravel bike. It's that light.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's insane.
7.2
Well, I picked it up and I'm like, I moved it from over there to over here. I'm
I
like,
thought it was a display model.
is this
Like it
just
wasn't
a pretend
real.
bike?
Yeah, no, it's proper bikes.
And they're just so much fun, right? I think that whole, again, and I think this whole the forward driving aspect, going out and forward driving with your mates, right? You go out, you have fun, you go camping, you fill your esky, you have all of your fun stuff, your campfire, and have fun, and then you drive back and you have a weekend away. More and more people are doing that on bikes, right? You can pack them up, you can put
All the
your
bike
tents and all that
packing
stuff.
to the extreme now.
Yeah, full on, right? And
Yeah.
so, good coffee, a good on the go is so important.
Definitely.
And then find a brewery.
For lunch.
Pub. That's generally our go-to.
We
when
talked
we're
earlier
in
about
the
that
place.
day. I was
Yeah.
trying to think. I was like, where did I get all the beer
Yeah.
from? But
So-
then I remember that there's
Blue
a pub.
Tier.
Yeah, there's a pub halfway down.
Yeah, so the Blue Tier Trail at
Derby.
Derby is the halfway point is a pub. So the shuttle run I think was an hour and a half,
Yeah.
something like that in the Land Cruiser up to the top of the mountain, and then you still have to ride further uphill. Yeah, thanks. And someone broke their rib 20 metres into the trail.
20 metres in, yep.
Yeah, it wasn't us.
Pedal strike and went down hard.
Lord Voldemort broke his rib. And so I was chugging away litres of water while this guy's just like crossing up over every jump possible. I can hardly breathe. And how's this guy doing it? No water, no nothing. Gets to the pub, downs them like I've never seen. Back on the bike, let's go. I'm like, come on, man. I'm still catching my breath.
Yeah, but so I was a bit heavy, so downhill, go faster.
You were flying. Actually still don't understand how you did it. With no water, just flat out. You didn't stop talking.
Downhill biking scares me, so...
It's still hard work.
Oh,
It is still
hard, especially when it's all day, one trail.
Yeah.
Halfway is the pub. It's Blue Tier, the best trail I've ever done in my life.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too. Like you can, I think it is definitely more difficult, or it definitely is difficult. But how well the World Trail, the guys that build those tracks down there, like some of it just feels like you're on a roller coaster, right?
Oh, it's
just so flowy good. And so fun.
Yeah, beautiful day on the bike.
Yeah, it was epic, wasn't it?
And then the river.
Yeah.
So there's it was Tassie isn't hot ever. I'm there for it. I love cold. And we were pretty sore after 3 or 4 days on the bike consistently. So we took an ice bath in the river. It was an ice bath.
As you should.
Oh, mate, it was unreal. I'll never forget that moment, hey. It was really good.
Yeah.
Just, sitting in the river, couple of boys and recovering.
Freezing.
And then the cramps on the plane on the way home. The ice bath didn't do enough.
No.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Good trip.
It was a great trip.
Definitely.
Hands down, tears. Still too scary to do downhill.
Nah, you'll be right. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's not like you've been watching too much Red Bull, mate.
I've been watching too many crashes.
We're not that good.
Yeah. I watched a video the other day. A guy hit one of those jumps and then hit an old mate tree over there and...
Don't hit trees.
The first time I ever went to Derby, I took my partner Sammy. She'd never ever ridden a mountain bike.
Yeah.
We went to that pub. We stayed at that pub overnight, and then we got up in the morning, and they went, "Oh, we have," and we were just actually in a camper there, and we were touring around, and so I wasn't supposed to be going mountain biking or anything. And then we got up in the morning. They said, "Oh, we've got a couple of mountain bikes that you can hire." I was like, "Yeah, let's do this." They were the shittest mountain bikes you've ever seen in your life, right? Like they were not ready to do what I was about to do to them. And so I hired two and said, "Let's go." We rode up Big Chook, I think it's called, and Sammy's on there and rode. She'd never ridden a mountain bike in her life, and then we came down, and that's a fairly technical descent. And she had one crash on the way down, but made it down, no worries.
Yeah.
It's all about how good the trails are, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. Those trails are so
So when are we
good.
booking the trip to Tassie?
Yow!
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Tassie's where it's at.
I'll take the 4
And there was actually a pizza shop there. That was... I've been talking about this lately, how good that pizza shop was. Pretty sure they weren't actually open.
No, I think we
We
forced them
just
open.
kind of said, hey, I'm hungry. Fire that up, let's go. And she did.
And she did, yeah.
Yeah.
That was epic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Set out
Tassie
back,
for you.
Good beer, good booze,
Yeah.
good vino.
Tassie's definitely on the list.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. I don't know if there's any good coffee there.
no, I've heard there is some good coffee
Yeah.
in Tassie.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember Az went down
We'll
there?
have to go and find out.
Yeah.
Work trip.
There's a couple of good little roasteries down in Hobart that do pretty good stuff.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I think the food and booze culture of Hobart and Tasmania in general, right? You've got some of the world's best whiskies. You've got some of the world's best pinots.
Yep.
And then you've got all of that sort of southern Tasmania of fruit and through the Huon Valley and all that sort of stuff. And then you've got restaurants in Hobart. They've got stars and hats and stuff. They're full on, world class restaurants. So then the coffee just were just dragged up by the bootstraps, right?
Yeah.
So there's a couple of roasters down there
cool.
doing some cool stuff.
You just reminded me,
have
I've
to
actually
check it
had
out.
a good whiskey from Tasmania, and it won awards. So there's like a limited bottle, so
Yeah.
completely forgot that even existed. So
Well,
Eddie
here's a little
Tasmania.
side story for you. There was another little dude in here today, Eddie. You met Eddie?
Little lady.
Yeah.
Packing.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So his uncle is a guy by the name of Bill Lark Distillery, the legend.
Oh,
So there you go.
And he's in here packing coffee orders.
Yeah,
that's
doing an Eddie, as we
Doing
like
an
to say.
Eddie.
Doing an Eddie.
Yeah.
God bless his cotton
Tell
socks.
me honestly, have you ever met an Eddie that isn't loose?
Every Eddie's loose.
They're all
They're all
just
the same.
loose.
Yeah.
Eddie. Bloody doing an Eddie. Anyway, we're getting close to the end, but before we go, we do need to find out.
Yeah, which one was
Two
the
truths and a lie, mate. Which one was the
Ooh.
lie?
Okay. Well, you'll probably be surprised that I've never ridden my bike from Hobart to Devonport.
What?
But you have kicked a goal at the
Yep, the MCG.
MCG.
Yep, in front of about 100,000 people.
And
And I have backup danced at the AFL Grand Final with Kath and Kim.
I need to know these stories.
I need to see the footage.
Well, you actually just asked for 2 truths and a lie. You didn't have to say I had to extrapolate any further than
Okay.
that.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to find this.
Yeah.
I'm all over it.
That's
We're
the start
about
of the
digging
next
up.
video.
Awesome, man. Well, this has definitely been a lot of fun, man.
Thank
you
you.
so
Thanks
much
for
for
having
joining
me
us,
on.
mate. It's been
Thank you.
great.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for watching, listening. Make sure you check out the Instagrams and YouTubes and likes and stars and however the things work to help us spread the word about what we're doing here.
Yeah, tell your friends. And,
Yeah, tell at least 2 people. Just do that. Just tell 2 people about this podcast.
Even if you're schizophrenic and you tell yourself twice.
That works for me. Watch it 3 times. It's the same thing.
Exactly.
Or if you want to be on the podcast like Vaughan.
That's it. If you want to come and tell us 2 truths and a lie, let us know if you dare, and we'll have a good time together. But that's it, guys. Thanks again, Vaughan. Thanks, Zachy.
guys. See you next time.
See ya.
It's the Brews and Bros podcast.